You don't understand. I had a 4.0. I had everything lined up and I threw it away for you. Her voice cracked in the hospital corridor, tears streaming down her face. He stood frozen, the truth bleeding out between them like an open wound. I didn't ask you to. No, you didn't ask, but I chose you anyway. Welcome back to Tales of the Fireplace Family. Here we share stories that remind us of one truth. Love and loss touch every soul, no matter who we are. We never know when, how, or why, but love always finds us, and its stories deserve to be told. If you're new here, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss the moments that change everything. And to our returning hearts, thank you. Your presence keeps this fire burning. Stay with us till the end. Share your thoughts. And tell us where in the world you're watching from. Let us continue. Simone Davis sat in the back corner of the George Washington University Library, her laptop screen glowing with half-finished essay paragraphs. Finals week. 3 papers due, 1 scholarship renewal riding on a perfect GPA. She rubbed her eyes, the 3rd cup of coffee doing nothing but making her hands shake. Across campus, Julian Cross stood on the roof of a glass tower overlooking the National Mall, phone pressed to his ear. I don't care what the board says. We're not cutting healthcare benefits. He ended the call and stared at the city below. 34 years old, built an empire from nothing, slept 4 hours a night, hadn't smiled in 6 months. Simone packed her bag at midnight. The library was closing. She walked through Foggy Bottom, past the late-night food trucks and groups of students laughing their way home. Her phone buzzed. Mom. She ignored it. Couldn't handle another lecture about staying focused, not letting distractions in, keeping her head down. Julian left the office at 1 a.m. His driver waited outside, but he waved him off. Needed air. Needed to feel something other than the weight pressing on his chest. He walked toward the Potomac, hands in his coat pockets, breath visible in the December cold. Simone cut through the park near the river, shortcut to her apartment. Stupid, maybe, but she was tired and broke and didn't want to pay for a ride share. That's when she saw him, a man slumped against a bench, shivering, no coat. She stopped, walked closer. Hey, you okay? Julian looked up, his vision blurred. He'd skipped dinner, skipped lunch. The exhaustion had finally caught up. I'm fine. You don't look fine. He tried to stand. His legs gave out. Simone caught him. She got him to a bench under a streetlight. His skin was ice cold. When's the last time you ate? I don't remember. Simone pulled out the protein bar she'd been saving for breakfast. Here. He stared at it, then at her. Dark skin, tired eyes, hair pulled back in a bun. Med student, maybe, or law, someone who should have kept walking. Take it, she said. He did, ate it in 3 bites. She sat beside him, watching the river. You got somewhere to go? Yeah. You sure? He nodded, but he didn't move. Simone checked the time. 1:47 a.m. She had an exam at 9, needed sleep, needed to review 2 more chapters. But this man looked like he was about to collapse, and she couldn't just leave him here. Maybe you've been in a moment like this where you know the smart choice, but your heart won't let you walk away. If that's ever been you, I hope you'll stay with this story and share your story below. Sometimes the hardest choices are the ones that change everything. Come on, she said, standing. I live 10 minutes from here. You can crash on my couch. I can't. You can barely stand. Let's go. Julian didn't argue. He followed her through quiet streets, past row houses with Christmas lights still up, past corner stores with metal grates pulled down. She unlocked the door to a narrow building, led him up 2 flights of stairs. Her apartment was small, clean, books everywhere, a couch that had seen better days. Sit. She handed him a blanket, filled a glass of water. I'm Simone, by the way. Julian, you live around here. Julian? He hesitated. Not really. She didn't push, just nodded. Bathroom's down the hall if you need it. I've got class in the morning, but help yourself to whatever's in the kitchen. Thank you. She looked at him for a long moment, then disappeared into her bedroom. Julian sat on the couch, staring at the ceiling. He hadn't let anyone help him in years, didn't know how to accept kindness without calculating what it would cost. But tonight he was too tired to fight it. Simone woke up at 7, groggy and disoriented. Her exam. She grabbed her phone, missed alarm. 45 minutes to get across campus. She stumbled into the living room. Julian was still there, asleep on the couch, the blanket pulled up to his chin. She should have woken him, should have kicked him out. But something stopped her. He looked peaceful, human. She scribbled a note on the back of a receipt. Help yourself to coffee. Lock the door on your way out. Then she ran. The exam was a disaster. She couldn't focus. Kept thinking about the stranger on her couch. Kept second-guessing every answer. By the time she finished, she knew she'd blown it. Julian woke up at 9, saw the note, looked around the apartment. Medical textbooks, student loan statements on the counter, a framed photo of Simone with an older woman, her mother, probably. He felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Guilt. She'd helped him, a complete stranger, and he'd taken her kindness without giving anything back. He left a $100 bill on the counter, locked the door, walked back to his car, which his assistant had located in a parking garage 6 blocks away. By noon, he was back in his office. Back in his suit, back to being untouchable, but he couldn't stop thinking about her. Simone failed the exam. Not completely, just enough to drop her GPA below the scholarship threshold. She sat in the financial aid office 3 days later, fighting back tears. There has to be something, a payment plan, anything. The advisor shook her head. I'm sorry, without the scholarship, tuition for next semester is due in full by January 10th. Simone walked out into the cold. She had $600 in her bank account. Rent was $500. Tuition was $18,000. She was done. That night, she picked up a shift at a catering company, some corporate holiday party at a hotel in DuPont Circle, passed trays of champagne to men in $1,000 suits. She didn't see him at first, but he saw her. Julian froze mid-conversation, the woman from the park. The one who'd saved him, she was here, serving drinks. He excused himself, walked over. Simone, she turned. Her face went blank. Julian, what are you doing here? Working. You? This is my company's event. Her stomach dropped. Of course it was. I tried to leave you money, he said quietly. Did you find it? Yeah, I gave it to a shelter. He blinked. Why? Because I didn't help you for money. Silence. She turned to leave. He grabbed her arm gently. Wait. Please. They ended up in a quiet hallway away from the party. I need to get back to work, Simone said. I know, just give me 5 minutes. She crossed her arms, waited. Julian exhaled. That night. I wasn't homeless, I wasn't broke, I was just done. I'd been working 90-hour weeks, running a company I built from nothing, and I realized I didn't even know who I was anymore. I went for a walk, and my body just gave out. Simone stared at him. So you're rich? Yes. And you let me think. I didn't lie. You didn't tell the truth either. He nodded. You're right. She laughed bitterly. I failed an exam because of you, lost my scholarship. I'm about to drop out of med school because I stopped to help someone who didn't even need it. Julian's face went pale. What? I had a 4.0, I had everything lined up, and I stayed up all night making sure you were okay instead of studying. So, congratulations. You cost me everything. Her voice broke. She wiped her eyes fast, angry at herself for crying in front of him. If you've ever sacrificed something for someone who didn't deserve it, you know this feeling. That moment when you realize kindness has a price. If this story is hitting you, don't go yet. There's more here than pain. Julian looked at her like she'd just gutted him. I'll pay your tuition. I don't want your money. Then what do you want? I want to go back in time and keep walking. She left him standing there. But Julian didn't let it go. He found her 2 days later outside the library. I talked to the dean. Simone kept walking. Leave me alone. They're letting you retake the exam. She stopped, turned. What? I explained what happened. Well, not everything, but enough. You retake it next week. If you pass, your scholarship gets reinstated. She stared at him. Why would you do that? Because you're right. I took something from you. I'm trying to give it back. Simone felt her throat tighten. I don't need your charity. It's not charity. It's the least I can do. She wanted to stay angry, wanted to hate him, but the way he looked at her, like he actually cared, made it hard. Fine, she said quietly. Thank you. He nodded, started to leave, then stopped. Can I ask you something? What? Why'd you help me that night? You didn't know me. You had everything to lose. Simone shrugged. Because someone needed help. That's it. Julian looked at her for a long time. You're a better person than I am. I'm really not. She passed the retake, got her scholarship back. Julian kept his distance, but they exchanged a few texts. Polite. Careful. Then the article came out. Billionaire Julian Cross, linked to med student in scandal. Someone at the party had taken a photo of them in the hallway. The caption suggested she was his mistress. That he'd paid her tuition in exchange for favors. Simone's phone exploded. Texts from classmates, calls from reporters, her mother crying, asking what she'd done. She called Julian, furious. Did you do this? What? No, I would never. They're saying I slept with you for money. Simone, I'll fix this. I'll release a statement. You can't fix this. This is my life, my reputation, and you just destroyed it. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't help me. She hung up, blocked his number, locked herself in her apartment and cried until she couldn't breathe. Julian sat in his office staring at the article. He'd spent years building walls to keep people out, to protect himself from this exact kind of pain. And now he'd dragged her into it. 2 weeks passed. Simone avoided campus, avoided everyone. Her mom came to visit, held her while she cried, told her everything would be okay. But Simone didn't believe it. Julian released a statement, explained the truth, that she'd helped him, that he'd tried to pay her back, that there was nothing inappropriate. The media moved on, but the damage was done. One night, there was a knock on her door. She opened it. Julian stood there looking wrecked. I know you don't want to see me. Then why are you here? Because I can't stop thinking about you. Because you're the only person in 10 years who's seen me as a human being instead of a bank account. And because I'm falling in love with you, and I don't know what to do about it. Simone's breath caught. I'm not asking you to forgive me, he said. I'm just asking you to let me try, to prove I'm not the person you think I am. She looked at him, tired, broken, real. You hurt me, she whispered. I know. I trusted you. I know. And you're asking me to do it again. He nodded. She should have slammed the door, should have walked away, but she didn't. They started slow. Coffee, walks by the river, late-night phone calls where they talked about everything and nothing. Julian learned about her mother who'd raised her alone, about medical school and why she wanted to be a doctor, about the night she found him and how scared she'd been that he'd die. Simone learned about his childhood in foster care, about building his company from nothing, about the loneliness that came with success. 3 months later, she graduated, top of her class, full scholarship restored. Julian was in the audience. He'd never been prouder of anyone in his life. Afterward, they stood outside the Kennedy Center. the Potomac behind them. "Remember this spot?" she asked. "Where you found me?" "Where I found you," she repeated. "Funny how life works." He took her hand. "I don't deserve you." "Probably not." He laughed. First real laugh she'd heard from him. "But you're stuck with me now," she said. "Good." They kissed under the streetlight, the same one from that December night, the same place where everything changed. Sometimes love doesn't make sense. Sometimes it costs everything. But if you're lucky, it gives back more than you ever thought possible. If this story reminded you that kindness matters, even when it's hard, maybe leave a thought below. Not for me. For everyone else who needs to hear it tonight. Simone pulled back, smiled. "So what now?" Julian smiled back. "Now we figure it out. Together." And for the first time in years, neither of them felt alone. What would you rate this story from 0 to 10? And where in the world are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments. Let's build a global community rooted in kindness, love, and second chances. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe and share it with someone who would enjoy it too. Your support brings us closer to our 1K subscriber milestone and fuels our mission to create more emotional stories centered on resilience, healing, and Black excellence. Thank you for being part of this journey with us. Your presence truly matters.